Hey guys, sorry. Patrick is going to be here like any second. He is, if you don't know Patrick, he's another lawyer friend that we know through this case. He helps Omar and I with the copyright stuff when all that happened with David last year. And so he's going to pop in here in a second. I saw some people asking about Bruce. So Bruce is watching the Packers. I don't know how that's going, but I know that you don't ask Bruce to leave when he's watching the Packers. So Bruce is not going to be here tonight. That's all right though. I think Bruce, after the last time we were together, I had like my little crash out, and I think he might need a breather after that too. So I don't blame the guy if he did. But hopefully we'll be back tomorrow night. We'll see. Let me pull this up really quick. I was unprepared as usual. So we want to go over this filing we did not go over the other night, but I also wanted to kind of touch on this whiny cry blog. My wish is your toilet paper. I'm sorry. I forgot that he wrote that. That's fantastic. So we'll get into that first. Okay. So I've been going through these, and the reason I don't pull up his website is not because I don't want to give him credit for his own bad writing. It's because he is like using whatever he can, whenever he can, to copyright strike people. So it's just easier not to show photos of his website. These are his words, so you can always go look at it yourself. Here we go. Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Hey. I just pulled up a copy of David's blog to go over really quickly before we do.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I had ChatGPT summarize it because he's such a fucking blowhard.
What did ChatGPT say?
Well, I've been training ChatGPT. I've been in this like one chat about David to like believe and understand that he's a liar. So ChatGPT like roasts him. It's so funny.
Oh God.
Like,
yeah, I've been doing like some creative writing whenever I read one of his blogs. But today I read this and I was just like, this isn't even worth my time to like.
That's why
put together a bunch of insults.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm just gonna Google this because I'm just gonna ChatGPT this because literally nothing. He's not even worth making the content for.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm gonna go out of my way to be a bitch to someone, it's because they've pushed me to a certain point. So I'm gonna make sure that comes from my brain, not like a chatbot. But sometimes the chatbot can be funny. So
that I respect, though. Like, if you're gonna come up with an insult, don't phone it in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, the chat, it said this. I thought this was good. Imminent release. The entire post is dramatically built up about the release of his motion by repeatedly stating he is split. He's maximizing anticipation. It will be seen by his supporters as an act of principled legal defense.
I think it's funny that it thinks he has supporters. So ChatGPT makes mistakes too, guys.
Exactly. But then it says, but it's really a publicity stunt. So ChatGPT saves itself there. His final line, "Until I change my mind," is a promise, not a doubt. I was like, all right, ChatGPT, go off.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long it'll be before that thing comes out anyways, but God. Well, I feel like he's shown a considerable increase in self-restraint by not putting that out there. But at the same time, it doesn't make him any less of a dick, so it doesn't really matter.
It seems so hard for him to be restrained too.
Oh, yeah. Because even on this blog that we're about to scan over, he's like, I just want people to stop talking about me. I want to be at peace. Find other content. And then he links to another one of his cases. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't even click his links anymore because I feel like he'll put a tracker in there.
I mean, it doesn't matter. He knows I'm looking at his shit anyway. So, yeah. For me personally, I'm just kind of like, I don't care. I'm there. So, but I thought it was interesting that he apparently said someone hacked his blog, and that's why they're like filing motions for fees and sanctions and stuff in that other case. So that was interesting. And then also I saw somebody in Discord had pointed it out to me in one of his responses to like when they were talking about this issue before they decided to file for sanctions was David saying, "Oh, sorry, I haven't responded. I've been very busy with an emergency. My client in Arizona has been indicted on, whatever. And then he's like, so obviously, he's saying he's been very busy with that. I'm like, you never representing her in her criminal case.
Wow, so he lied to the court.
Well, he lied to the other attorney. Basically, because they were trying to communicate with them about, this is the issue we're having. We intend to, file for sanctions or whatever. Is my understanding, at least. I mean, I could be getting some of that wrong, but at least what he said
is a different case than the Laura's cases.
Right. It's the Cody Wilson thing in Orlando.
Yeah, I actually have a docket alert set up for that on my work email. So whenever something happens, but they've just been in a battle of like motions to dismiss and motions. It's a shit show over there, which doesn't surprise me.
Mike's mom is here. Hi, Mike's mom.
Oh shit! Hello, Mike's mom.
Mike's mom is here. Oh shit!
Be quiet. We gotta be quiet.
No, it's good. She's heard all my words. It's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that the fact that he's referring to Mike as MM, it's really telling. Like, he is flirting, and he does this so much, flirting with witness intimidation so finely, and he is just a walking fuck around and find out.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Okay.
And it's obvious.
Let me go over some of this shit. So he was first complaining about the black and white copy that we got from the court, and so he provided a link and said, use this instead. So I decided to remove that because I don't give a shit. Okay, for reasons I can't explain, although the clerk accepted my declaration, the motion it supports remains stuck in clerking limbo. I don't know when we're going to see that. So he says here, I see comments from people talking about the declaration as if it is the whole story. It is not. You need the motion as well. I highly fucking doubt that. Highly doubt that. I don't think the motion is going to really tell anything different or more truthful or more accurate or whatever. I can't imagine it's anything more than just more whining and incorrect citations of law, which on cases he hasn't even read or whatever. So, I'm not really concerned with what the motion says. I think if he wants to publish that himself so that I can, spend my time making fun of it, he's welcome to do that. But I don't think it's going to make a damn difference. So I don't really care.
I also think that he obviously knows more about what's going on than I do in the case that he's not in. But I saw the screenshot that he posted, and the motions are listed as returned. They're not listed as pending. So, and then, I mean, again, this is just more reading tea leaves, but when you look at the court calendar, the declaration is put on for argument or some type of hearing the same day as the trial. So just my speculation, which could be off, is that the judge is just simply admitted the declaration as evidence and rejected the motions themselves, basically saying, I don't care what you're asking the court to do. You can't ask the court to do that. But you did file this declaration, and now it needs to be cross-examined. So it's all around bad moves for him. Like, that declaration is going to come back to bite him in more ways than one.
That's just like a petty tantrum. I noticed he was saying in here, and we'll get to that in a second, where he's saying, I didn't want to have anything to do with this. It's not my fault. This guy basically, he forced me to stay involved. I'm like, no, you could just accept that you're going to be disqualified from the case.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, they apparently, when I went through some of those documents from Florida earlier, they have bar complaints against him too.
Oh,
from that case. So I'm like, certainly you have enough on your plate that you could have just let this go.
Yeah. He also will never be a lawyer in Florida. I know he says, oh, maybe I'll be a lawyer in Florida. There's no reciprocity. He could practice federal law, maybe, but there's no reciprocity.
We have enough batshit in Florida. We do not need that, man. My God.
It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I spent most of my life here. I've only been out of Florida for 2.5 years of my life. I lived in Arizona, right? And then I lived in New York for a tiny bit. So I'm pretty familiar with our type of crazy, and I can say that there is a surplus, and you do not need to render your services here. It's just not necessary. Thank you.
I have a conspiracy theory about why he is fighting this motion to dismiss, or this motion disqualifies so hard. But
sure, what's up?
I think that because if Laura does win, which there's a non-zero sum chance, judges are humans.
I mean, yeah,
infallible.
Sure.
And he has been ghostwriting all of her pleadings. He can then jump in and say, hey, actually, I have been representing Laura the whole time. I'm now filing for attorney's fees and blah, 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 just to drag it out more. But if he's disqualified, then he can't. That stops him from doing that. So
Right.
little tin hat, but
not like he has any other income, so that would be,
Exactly.
I guess, beneficial.
Exactly.
The tilted lawyer versus the jilted lawyer has been fun. Thank you, Cynic in Chief. That's funny. All right. You see. Several people have asked for copies. Okay, then give it to them or don't. I don't fucking care. Like the flip-flopper I am, I almost changed my mind. Yeah, we know you change your mind a lot. The sticking point is this. I held some small and probably naive hope that the underlying dispute would get resolved. If the dispute is terminated, that arguably moots most other issues, which is what I'd prefer, although the lying to the court thing wouldn't be moot. Again, there were no lies to the court in that, but go off, I guess. I want less noise. I want more peace. Then stop blocking. Which is ironic because the opposing side acts like I am the one dragging this out, when in fact it's exactly the opposite. Dude, you're begging for attention, not just from this now. It's like, well, I might not post my motion, but here, now look at my other case and talk about that. Like nobody's falling for this. Crap. I don't fully understand what he's saying here, though, to be honest. With I was hoping the underlying dispute would get resolved. Like, how is that supposed to go? If the dispute is terminated.
Sorry, I just called Mike's mom his wife. What did you say?
Mike's mom is not his wife. Okay. Sorry. Wow. That was a big no. Okay. No, I don't understand this. The underlying dispute we can resolve thing. Like, if the dispute is terminated, that argument moots most other issues. What is he talking about here?
I think about whether or not he's disqualified.
Yeah, I don't get it though. Like, hoping that it would get resolved.
Well, he's talking about the dispute about whether or not that motion to disqualify him should be withdrawn. That's all he wants Omar to do. That's what he's talking about when he says dispute. So when he says if the dispute is terminated, that arguably moots most other issues, aka his motion. His motion is more likely than not to strike a lot of stuff that was in the motion to disqualify and a motion to throw it out or to dismiss it. Okay. So I think that's what he means. Yeah.
All right. For the record, because I know this is going to potentially become an issue at some point, on his blog, Mike's mother and I have never met. So she is in fact allowed to watch whatever she wants on YouTube. Why she wants to watch me say the things that I say, I have no control over that. And I don't know why, but thank you. So, all right.
And just for Laura, I know you're out there listening. Hi, Laura. We don't even know that it is Mike's mom. We don't have the IP address. We have no fucking clue. Like, please write a Medium article because they're hilarious. But chill
I don't even know if this is Patrick. I mean, come on. It could be a deep fake AI or something.
True.
Besides, if that's enough these days to say someone hacked you or whatever, then it should be, I guess there's doubt in everything. As much as I wanted to make this a super short update, let me just clarify one thing. The DVRO against Mike has expired by its own. Yeah, we don't give a shit. We know that already. If you only focus on the grounds for renewal, that part of the case is really simple, and the facts are or should be undisputed. So here's the thing that bothers me. It's undisputed that Mike released 2,500 pages of private text without a court order and without a subpoena. So you are allowed to show people your text messages, no? But there's also not been like actual 2,500 pages of text released at all, to my knowledge. Like, I know we've seen some of them publicly, but not 2,500 pages. That's just absolutely not true, because I've been through all of them that were, that went around a while ago. And if they were 2,500 pages, I would still be reading them. So
even if they were released, it doesn't answer the question as to whether or not Mike has committed subsequent harassment against her.
Right. Well, I guess that is the harassment. He showed some text messages that she claims, were, not even real at one point. And they were saying like these are like fake messages or fake documents or something that came out in the messages. And then now they want to double down on like, oh, he did this, he released these messages. And then she said in her petition even, or her like, when she was asking for renewal, she was like, imagine having like your ex release these messages between you. And like, so they are real.
Right. Yeah, he can't get his story straight. He won't commit to what the story really is there. But I think if Bruce were here, he would say this is classic Gingras, like making a conclusion and not supporting it with any facts.
Right. Of course. Okay. in addition to the document leak, it's also undisputed that Mike traveled from California to Arizona and violated the proximity part of the DVRO. I think that's pretty disputed. I mean, as far as it being a violation, I feel like that's pretty fucking disputed. I don't know what. Like, that's just not. That's, oh my god. The whole thing is a dispute. I don't know why. I don't know why you're trying to pretend that's not, like, that's a set in stone issue. But okay.
This is just his diary at the end of the day. He's
Oh,
not
absolutely,
really
yeah.
even making like legal sense at this point.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna read this right here because it's stupid as fuck. I saw what's his name. His name is Omar, and you love him. Recently filed something trying to dismiss the DVRO on the basis it was obtained by fraud. Again, to remind everyone, the original order was stipulated to, meaning MM agreed to it. If I was actually counsel of record, I would be happy to explain how stupid this argument is, but I'm not, so I won't. Okay, sure, man. But I mean, we are aware that it was stipulated to, but the circumstances behind all of this are insane. Like, batshit nuts. And I know that's kind of like a long shot, but still, it's pretty easy to understand why they would ask for that.
I mean, he should be here, counsel of record, because even the argument he's starting to create here is a bad one. So, like, I would love to have that presented in court because there's so many other better, more compelling arguments.
I almost feel like she'd fare better pro se. Like, he's that bad.
Oh, 100%. It totally endorse that.
Right. Let's see. So this is another stupid thing that he says all the time. Look, I understand this is a never-ending story and it's a source of meager income for a few people and a source of fascination for others. For me, it's neither of those things. Well, you've been obsessing over this for over a year. You've made it your entire life. So I don't really know what to say to that. But for me, my number one wish is to never have to talk about this again. That is clearly not true. But my wish is not your wish. My wish is your toilet paper. David, I don't think anything that you have ever said or written is quality enough for me to wipe my ass with. I genuinely don't. But as far as the, like, source of meager income, he thinks people are leeches, blah, blah, blah. Look, if you can make a living doing or talking about something that is important to you, then you should be able to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was saying this earlier, like, if I wanted to really, like, make money and that was the only thing that mattered, that's all I wanted to spend my time just making as much money as I could, I would go to TMZ and I would look up whatever rumors there are right now about Blake and Ryan and a possible divorce, and I would just sit here and talk about that for an hour, and I would just go through whatever's in the tabloids. Because that is honestly what gets me the most clicks, is what's getting me the most view time, ad revenue, all that stuff. But I don't want to sit here and do that. That's not what I care about. This is obviously something that matters. It brings up a lot of issues that are, like, deeply important to me as far as her fraud and the things that she's done to abuse the legal system. So that's, you can say, yeah, people get income from it. You can act like they're leeches or whatever. But I feel like everybody should have a right to talk about what's important to them. And if they can make a living doing that, then fucking do it. But this is not even my day job, so I don't care. And more important than all of that, you've never once said, give me money in any way, shape, or form, ever. No, I don't like asking for money. Even when, like, he threatened me with legal action, even when Blake threatened me with, whatever, I'm like, I'm not going to ask people for their money. I'm going to stand my ground and say what I believe. And if I lose, then I lose. But I'm not going to ask people for money. That's not what I'm here for. Yeah. I did some quick Googling, and apparently it's like, there's a lot of squishiness in this math, but it basically equals to, like, for every 1,000 views you get like $1 in ad revenue. So the ad revenue is not good, especially if it's small. Yeah, channel. You're not Mr. Beast or something. No, I could barely, like, afford the shower gel that I feel like I need to use whenever I read one of these blogs. If I were just going off the ad revenue, like, fuck off. It's ridiculous. Let's see. I don't know if there's anything really pertinent here. Like, this is the case that he cited that he's involved in Florida. There's nothing good there. There's nothing to really click on. I can't stomach giving free content to heartless leeches who don't deserve it. What are you doing writing this stupid blog then? Yeah, and make better content for us, Gingras. This is really bad. It's getting boring to the point, like, I don't even know how to be fun with this. Like, right? Like, I don't even know how to be funny. It's just stupid. Get another DUI. Like, come on. It's like, please don't. You might hurt someone. I mean, if you're gonna do that, just, like, do it in your backyard or something. On a boat in open water with no one around. All right, I can live with that. Yeah, I think we can endorse that. No, please don't. All right, well, so let's move on to to this, which is what we're actually here for. Let me pull this up real quick.
And
Yeah,
so
regular PDF.
I don't have like really even any legal takeaways from that. Like,
there's nothing to take away from that other than like you lost some brain cells in time reading it. But you know, I'm here for the ad rev, I guess. You know,
I think the legal takeaway, yeah, God knows, I'm here for it too. The legal takeaway for
you're
me
not
is,
even getting any. No, it's okay.
I know I need to set my game
We
up.
can
And,
split
like,
that.
actually
I'll give you like 75 cents. That's about half, right?
You gave me a notebook, extra
I did
notebook
give
and
you
a
a notebook.
t-shirt, so I will take that.
Right. Cool.
Thank you
All right.
for that.
Sweet. Yeah, I don't know if we really have anything else to say about that unless you.
Well, I just think that you know, from the screenshot that he shared, it's a question. It's up in the air as to whether or not those motions are even going to be accepted by the court, not for a technical reason or anything. I can address the good standing thing. A lot of people were asking about that. Yeah, in his declaration, he says he's a member of the bar in good standing, and the majority of people here, their gut was right. It's because he hasn't been fully adjudicated or sanctioned in the jurisdiction. But again, this makes the declaration bad for him, because if I'm Omar on cross-examination when David's on the stand, I'm going to say, you know, did you represent to the court that you're a member of good standing in these jurisdictions? He's going to say, yeah. And then Omar's going to say, well, isn't it also true that you are currently being investigated by the Bar of Arizona? Yes, that's true. And why didn't you put that in there? Well, I didn't think that it was relevant. Well, later on in your declaration, you say this is a pure he said, she said. So credibility is everything here, Mr. Gingras. How do you think this affects your credibility by not telling the court you're under investigation? So it's just bad for him.
I wonder, like, doesn't he have to notify like California if he has a problem in Arizona? How does that work?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Does he have to notify California, like the California bar, if he has a problem in Arizona? Is that a thing? I feel like somebody brought that up before and I can't remember.
It's technically, if you wanted to take like a hyper technical view of the ethical rules, yes, but then there's reality, right? So
yeah,
there's no way for one hand to talk to the other in that situation.
Okay, sure. All right, so do you read through this already?
I did. I listened to it through Schnitzel. Thank you, Schnitzel.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Because it's been like a couple days. I just got I was really busy, and then I was just like, I need to sleep for a day. So I could not do this yesterday. But we're not gonna like go through all the 2018 stuff in the bottom, because that's just like I'm gonna have to do that another time when it's not so late at night. But so they're trying to vacate the DVRO. Like, is this the initial DVRO from 2018? Is my understanding here, on the grounds that the order was procured through fraud. My understanding again is like that this is like a really hard thing to do, like a hard thing to. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I would say that it's a good motion to file procedurally. It's a good thing to do as a lawyer, but I wouldn't counsel my client that start putting the champagne on ice.
Okay.
Just because the level of this is similar. This is actually almost identical to the same issue as the made up issue Gingras had in the Mata case.
Yeah.
That she was deprived, whatever it was, bias that there's implicit and explicit bias. This is implicit and explicit or intrinsic and extrinsic fraud. So they're basically asking for something similar to Mike didn't get a fair trial whatsoever. Okay.
Well, yeah, that seems true, but people are saying like he would do terribly on the stand, like in the Reality Steve interview. Yeah, dude, that would be so bad.
Oh my God, yeah.
I can't even imagine this. Like, just be sitting there circle jerking himself, like if he had a female lawyer examining him or something, like he would just sit there and be like, "No, listen, honey, do you want a cookie?" Like, it would be terrible. You know what I mean?
Oh. Well, he said he's a witness before. I bet we can get that transcript and see how he does on the stand. I'll work on that.
Wait, where?
Remember, he said in his motion where he went on for 3 pages about how he disagrees that he can be disqualified, but he's so ethical that he will disqualify himself because he's done it before in another case.
Yeah,
which has nothing to do with. So right there, he's like he took a screenshot of the case where he was a witness. So if we
Okay.
find that, we can probably find the transcript.
That's great. Yeah, I want to see that. I love comedy. So
Exactly.
all right.
Yeah.
What
Are
has
you
become
drunk, sir?
yes, but that's neither here nor there. It's a constant. If you're always drunk, are you ever really drunk? I mean,
Right. Yeah.
know.
Chat. If anyone knows what I'm talking about and you can find the case number, throw it in chat and I'll look it up.
Okay. Let me see. What has become abundantly clear from all the filings addressing Owens' requested renewal is one fundamental truth. Laura Owens will not be able to refute evidence based on Owens' admissions, independent witness statements, findings from separate court proceedings, a recent felony indictment for fraudulent schemes, perjury, and submitting false evidence, which proves Owens' fabrication of allegations of abuse and the presentation of false evidence to obtain the 2018 restraining order. In doing so, Owens deprived Marraccini of a fair opportunity to defend against the DVRO, satisfying the definition of extrinsic fraud that warrants equitable relief. Is that all? Good Lord. Okay. So they're talking about Mike down here, which I think would, obviously upset her when she's reading this. So I'm sure that would over well. Marraccini has moved on. He started a family with a beautiful wife and children. He's lived a crime-free life full of love and affection from those he actively supports. He's moved on in every imaginable capacity, but for Owens' criminally inspired request to grasp at the ghosts of a relationship she relentlessly coveted, that Marraccini wants to erase from existence. Jesus Christ. I mean, this is like very poetic. I was reading this, I was like, bro, did you write this? Like,
I love the filings.
Yeah.
Screaming accusations.
Oh my God. Okay. So there's a lot of this stuff we don't need to really go through.
I agree. Yeah, it's all 2018 stuff. Submitted photographs. Although there are some pretty good gotcha moments here where it's like, she did this, but it was really this.
Do you remember like which ones were?
Like in subpoint 3 here, like the photo, she submitted a photo claiming it was injuries, but it was really her falling off a horse. Footnote 1. In 2018, Owens submitted 4 photographs to this court in support of her declaration. February 2017 photographs are dated, 2 photographs, purporting to be. During the same month, Owens competed in 3 horse shows, including one held on the 15th to the 19th.
Oh, dude, I did see a photo of her, like, on the, like, she ate it, and the horse is just riding away. Oh, that was great.
And the photo is apparently from from that exact same time period. Well, it says February 2017. That's very convenient for her.
2 things. One, Stir Crazy, thank you for the gifted membership. I appreciate you. Also, Stir Crazy put a link here to Mike's GoFundMe, guys. If you can, anything you have to help out, if you go to that link, Mike is still going to need some help with his legal fees for this mess that she's dragging him through. So I need to do a better job of kind of promoting that, but I will try to remember.
We help you out.
Yeah. Let's see. We read this part already with the psychiatric treatment.
No, not yet.
Okay. So Owens also claimed the abuse was so severe it drove her to seek inpatient psychiatric treatment, a claim which she herself had contradicted in prior filings. And then, so there were the text messages that we read through regarding that, and it didn't make any sense at all as like somebody who works in emergency psych. I've lived in Florida and worked in Florida a long time in that. I started, my studying psych in Arizona, so I'm pretty well versed in how that works. You don't have your phone. When you go into the hospital and you're suicidal, they don't want to have your phone. Even if you're voluntary, they take your stuff. And they put you in grippy socks, and they put you in this little special colored, like whatever shirt and pants, so that you are obvious to everyone that you're a psych patient. So for us, it was green. We would have the psych patients in green, versus the other patients who would have like blue scrubs or a gown or whatever they came in with. So they put you in certain clothes because the people have to watch you. There has to be a person watching you, either 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. And they have to make sure that you don't use any of your personal possessions that you brought to the hospital to hurt yourself. Like, for example, they do that because we had somebody who came in and she was a 17-year-old girl and she was suicidal and she had tried to hurt herself with pills. And we had another patient who came in with drugs and she hid the drugs in her clothes, but she wasn't a psych patient. So nobody searched her or took her stuff or anything like that. And the girl, got a hold of that woman's medication. I think the woman probably gave it to her, but I can't prove that. And this was a while ago. So it's not like something that people are going there's no HIPAA problem here. But she got a hold of that woman's medication and she went to the bathroom and took it, and then she almost died. So there's a reason that they take your stuff. There's a reason that they put you in special clothes. There's a reason somebody watches you like a hawk. You're not going to be sitting there texting the person who's causing you allegedly, because I don't think Mike actually did anything, allegedly causing you emotional distress. They're not going to let you do that.
Right.
You're in their care. They are responsible for you. If something happens that upsets you and causes you to hurt yourself, they're fucked.
And if you're like, who are you texting? And they're like, no one. They're not going to be like, oh, okay, sorry, my bad. They're going to look and see, and then they're going to be like, isn't this the person that you said was abusing you and caused you to be here? Like, no.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, neither story makes sense. This is actually quite remarkable, though. I thought this was multiple footnotes. This destroys the original DVRO, because it talks about the only photographic evidence that Laura submitted for the 2018 DVRO. It's this March 2017 photo, this May 2017 photo, and the February 2017 photo. And each one of these paragraphs points out that during the date of the alleged photograph of the abuse, she was specifically participating in multiple horse competitions. Like, oh my God. I that's so bad for her.
Yeah. I mean, if you're that fragile and thin, also, you could get a bruise from fucking nothing. You could get a bruise from accidentally bumping yourself on the side of a table. So it was so easy for her to set that up, I feel like.
I skimmed 4 already. You can skip it.
Sure. Okay. I don't need 5.
I think you can get to 6.
Okay. By July 2018, Marraccini was emotionally and financially exhausted due to the petitioner's barrage of false narratives. Rather than continue to engage with what he knew were baseless accusations, Marraccini made the practical decision to resolve the matter by stipulation. Marraccini, simply wishing to move on, agreed to enter into a stipulated restraining order, resulting in the issuance of a 2-year DVRO with no admissions of wrongdoing and no factual findings against him. Okay. So with the stipulation is the big thing that they're harping on there. He agreed to it. Okay, but he didn't agree to that for the rest of his life.
Also, where's the case law? Where's the fucking case law, Gingras? Where's the case law that says stipulation voids the claim of intrinsic or extrinsic fraud? Where is it? Where is it? If it's there, put it in your reply that you're going to help Laura write, and then Omar will take it down in his response.
Yeah. Jesus.
They have no legal basis to make that statement. He has no legal basis to make that statement, or else he would have.
It's just such a shitty thing to do, I guess. To try to accuse someone who never admitted to any wrongdoing. There was no finding of wrongdoing or anything like that. But to try to say this person is obviously guilty, obviously wrong, because they agreed to this. But the alternative is to be financially and emotionally destroyed for how long? How much longer can you continue to pay for that? What happens when your funds completely run out, when you're so much in debt and you can't do anything else, and you can't take all this time off of work and stuff to represent yourself? So what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do with that?
I know. I don't know. I mean, and the thing is that it takes more. If you don't know the legal system, then you don't even know where to go to ask for help.
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think, again, this what Gingras said about the stipulated, it's just so telling, and it's such a bad fact for him, because if this stipulation thing were a big deal, or as big a deal as the big deal here is the abuse, the alleged abuse of a woman. That is the big deal here. So if his blog is about stipulation, another legalese point, you're missing the point, dude. I would be hopping up and down saying, it doesn't matter if there's all these pictures, blah, blah, all these pictures are misdated. This fucking happened. I'd be indignant. I wouldn't be saying, well, he stipulated.
Well, it doesn't matter if,
Yeah.
Same thing. He eventually started doing the same thing with Clayton. He's it doesn't matter if she was never pregnant. I'm it kind of fucking does, though. But yeah, no, if you, are spending your legal expertise and law license writing on a blog about how it totally doesn't matter what this woman did, it doesn't matter if it was fraud or whatever, that's how you want to spend your time, that's what you want to dedicate your time to, is making excuses for people who abuse the system and making excuses for people who do this to others to try to destroy their lives. That says a lot about you as a person.
Yeah, I mean, be that person, but own it.
You removed yourself from this case, except now you're trying to intervene, okay? But you won't be her lawyer because that's a little shady and it's not going to go well. But you will voluntarily spend your time promoting on the internet that it does not matter what this person did to abuse her victim, and she did abuse him. Make no mistake. You're kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I just own it. Just own it, man.
You don't sound smart with that. Like the people who are reading this blog, they're not like other lawyers who are picking over words and trying to like go through technicalities, and it's like the public. The public is reading this, and you are promoting to the public that you do not care if somebody was abused. You just want to get someone off on a technicality, so you're right. I mean, that's bullshit.
So 7, 8, and 9 just say that the DVRO was issued in 2018 and it was renewed again until July of 2025.
Yeah. They're talking about the TED Talk. Multiple public statements referencing the restraining order and accusing Marraccini of heinous abuse, including a TED Talk. Did you ever watch that?
The TED Talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched some of it. I probably even watched a lot of it, and I was just like, I cannot fucking watch this anymore.
I've watched it in different eras as my like knowledge of the at first I believed her, so I watched it from that perspective,
Sure.
And I was horrified. And then I've watched it since, and now knowing that it was like heavily scripted and took like 10 different takes, it's hilarious. But it's also talking about a really it's hilarious to know that someone is making up something. It's just really shocking that it's that subject matter. I think if we step back from all of this and think about what the actual, like away from the stupidity and to the actual like implications, it's like stolen valor for so many victims of domestic violence.
Yeah. Jesus. All right. And then he's talking about Greg's case here. And another, she got one against Clayton. Out-of-state matters culminated in June 2024 when the Maricopa County Superior Court in Arizona conducted a trial on petitioner's paternity claims against Mr. Eckerd. In that proceeding, evidence was presented that petitioner had never been pregnant at all, that she had fabricated evidence, including bogus positive pregnancy tests and doctored medical records, and that she had lied under oath in support of her claims. People were asking about, like, so the fake cancer note and the fake doctor's notes and stuff. Like, what can they really do about that? Don't you have to, like, wouldn't you have to, like, subpoena the provider?
Yeah, I've thought about it, and
is that worth it? Like the time, I guess. I don't know.
I think the doctor would probably hide behind HIPAA and say, "I'm not."
Right, exactly. So, do you really want to go through all that to?
Right. It'd be quite a legal lift to do if the doctor just wanted to be like, thought it was the right thing to do. Right. But they run a business too, so it's difficult.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
I can read 15.
Yeah, go aher. Sorry, I'm trying to answer text from my mom. So.
Perfect. That's more important, honestly.
No.
Don't tell her. The Arizona court, this is 15, expressly found that petitioner Owens had provided false testimony and that her petition was fraudulent as part of a pattern of similar, if not identical, behavior in comparison to her prior schemes. The court noted that Owens's claims were not credible and had been concocted to manipulate the targets of her accusations. Petitioner Owens was ordered to pay $150,000 in attorney's fees to Mr. Eckerd as a result of her bad faith, fraudulent conduct. Shortly after, in May 2025, petitioner was indicted for 7 felony counts, including fraudulent schemes, perjury, forgery, and evidence tampering, all arising from her elaborate false pregnancy and abuse scams in the Eckerd matter. There should be like an elevated level of crime for faking this type of behavior.
Yeah, this is crazy, man.
Super perjury. It is against
super perjury.
It
Jumbo
is
perjury.
First degree perjury. There should be multiple degrees of perjury, right? There's like, fuck, and then there's like, fuck.
Yeah.
You caught me. It is against this backdrop that petitioner filed yet another request to renew her DVRO against Marraccini on or about July 2025, seeking to extend the restraining order permanently. Doesn't deserve a hearing, though. No. Now we're at 18.
Okay. See, renewal request is set for hearing in October 2025. Marraccini has opposed the renewal and now additionally brings an immediate motion to vacate the original DVRO on the grounds of extrinsic fraud, citing newly discovered evidence that was unavailable at the time of the 2018 stipulation. Okay, they're just talking more about that here. Let's see. Vacate the 2018 orders that have been obtained through mistake or excusable neglect based on what is now known to be Laura Owens' fraudulent scheme, perfected over the course of nearly a decade. Because he wasn't actually the first. There was someone before him too, right? But we don't really, that's not like somebody publicly talks about it, but yeah.
Yeah, they must have more legal defense abilities. Right. So for the points of authority, I was gonna either offer to read it because it's like legalese and stuff, or you could read it and then ask me questions, whatever works best for you.
I think I'll let you take this because I get confused on it. So
I don't know that. You do a great job. That's why we're all here.
Yeah. Right.
So California, I don't know what CC, but it's a California law. Oh, civil procedure.
Okay.
Yeah. Relief under civil procedure rule. This is points of authority, 473D, and equitable power, which is just like an inherent power the court has. Courts have the authority to set aside void judgments or orders upon motion by either party after notice to the other party. Rule 12, right there. Notice has been achieved under the instant case by virtue of Marraccini's filed response to Owens' DVRO renewal request, filed August 2025, and through this motion. Agreed.
Okay.
473 codifies the court's inherent power to vacate void judgments. In People 1, the court declared that a void judgment could be set aside under California Code 473. In National Diversified Services, the court clarified that 473 reflects the court's inherent power, just like I said, to address void judgments. In addition to statutory authority, courts possess inherent equitable powers to set aside judgments obtained through extrinsic fraud or mistake, even when the statutory deadlines have expired. Extrinsic fraud occurs when a party is prevented from fully participating in the case due to the deception or misconduct of the opposing party, such as being kept in ignorance of the proceeding or being misled into not defending the case. Oh, that's a good fact. Not being being misled into that. That's the stipulation fact. Oh, I should read that case. I should write that down. I'll do it later. I'm talking to myself. The court
you're good. Don't worry about it.
That relief could be granted under equitable principles if extrinsic fraud or mistake prevented a party from presenting their case, as in Rodriguez. That's the case I was just talking about. And so what does Rodriguez say? In Rodriguez, the court reaffirmed that relief could be granted under equitable principles if extrinsic fraud or mistake prevented a party from presenting their case, which is what happened here. I don't know about prevented, but certainly influenced. In court in Oliveira, it's also highlighted that equitable relief could be sought through a motion in the original action or an independent action in equity, provided the fraud or mistake was extrinsic. So that's addressing the statute of limitations, sort of. The distinction between extrinsic and intrinsic fraud is critical. Intrinsic fraud, such as perjury or forged evidence, and there is certainly plenty of that in this case, presented during the trial, does not warrant equitable relief because the affected party has the opportunity to address it during the proceedings. In contrast, the fraud Laura committed involves circumstances that prevent a fair trial, such as a lack of notice or deliberate concealment of material facts. Extrinsic fraud must relate to the manner in which the judgment was procured, not the issues decided in the judgment. Right. In addition, the courts have recognized that the term extrinsic fraud and extrinsic mistake are broadly interpreted to encompass circumstances that deprive a party of a fair hearing. I think that's a better argument for them. It's not that he wasn't able to not defend it. It was just, it wasn't fair at all.
Right.
Although, there's a good counter argument for that, but I'm not going to give it to them.
No, don't do that.
I stopped myself. Even if the circumstances do not strictly qualify as fraud or mistake. This principle was discussed in the Marriage of Park and reaffirmed in subsequent cases. California courts have, that was just a discussion about intrinsic versus extrinsic fraud. What I take away from it in terms of this case is that intrinsic fraud can be used to void a judgment, based on things that seem to maybe have happened in this case, i.e., deception and an inability to really have a fair trial. Which I think would say if I actually feel more confident now reading it in that way about the chances here. Still not like overly optimistic, but
sure, fair enough.
Not like they're pissing into the breeze or something.
No, yeah, okay.
That's
no motion to compel lunch. I mean,
yeah, that's you, David. Forgot that. California courts have consistently articulated a 3-part test. 1, a meritorious defense to the claims upon which the judgment was entered. 2, a satisfactory excuse for not fully presenting the defense. And 3, diligence in seeking relief once the fraud or mistake was discovered. The courts have also clarified that while there is no strict deadline for filing a motion based on extrinsic fraud or mistake, the motion must be made within a reasonable time after the fraud or mistake is discovered. This requirement, and that's why I said the discovery of that laptop is so critical, because that's like a hard dead pinpoint. You can say where it was discovered. This requirement is closely tied to the principle of avoiding prejudice to the opposing party. A domestic violence restraining order, DVRO, though civil in nature, is a serious order often made under expedited circumstances. The statutory framework and case law emphasize the significant impact and purpose of DVROs in protecting individuals from abuse, as seen in the broad legislative intent to prevent domestic violence and the serious consequences of violating such orders. Faux show. A DVRO obtained through extrinsic fraud may be vacated in equity. So that's the second part of their argument, is that the court has equitable powers to do it. If a court finds that a restraining order was procured through deception or false evidence, the proper remedy is to set it aside, thereby preserving the integrity of the court's processes. The policy favoring finality of judgments yields to fraud that undermines the fairness of the original proceeding. The court has the authority and duty to vacate a DVRO if evidence shows it was obtained by extrinsic fraud.
Okay.
So I do have a thought here, but go ahead. I just spoke for a while.
No, you're good. You're good. I think that all makes sense. But I was gonna say, for the argument and stuff, we don't have to go through it like word for word. We can kind of scat, because I know I'm keeping you longer than I said I would. But
no worries.
Yeah, it's already like 10:30.
Let me just text my girlfriend. But sure. My thought here was, just putting my judge hat on for a second and not like lawyer hat. If I was a judge, I would be thinking, okay, like this is a shitty situation for both people. And like, how can I do what's right, but also do what's fair? And obviously I'm a little bit skewed here. I'm a little bit biased here, but I think what's right and what's fair would be to set aside the 2018 DVRO and then say, but I'm still going to have a trial, and like we can take the totality of circumstances into account. And then based on the totality of circumstances, I'll consider this renewal a new request for DVRO based on the 2025 accusations. And then I'll make my ruling based on those accusations, given the full context of the case. I think that would at least give Laura, a chance to defend herself, as opposed to just completely setting this aside and dismissing it. But I think it's good for the judge to hear.
All right. Well, I mean, I kind of get that. Yeah. So what does this mean? He's not time barred. So we're just talking about a motion for relief has to be within 6 months. Yeah. Okay. So when is that not? I mean, I guess when is there an exception to that?
It's when in this case, it's when there's like fraud and it's extrinsic fraud. And the only requirement based on what we just read would be that after the fraud is discovered, that it's brought to the court's attention through something like this. So that's how you would get around the statute of limitations issue. It's kind of like in New York, they have that rule about for people who have been sexually assaulted, if they don't come forward within a certain amount of time, they can still come forward later.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody said you did an amazing judge LARP.
I always get very noble in my judge LARPing. Thank you. I should get some robes next time.
I haven't done any LARPing since I was 18. Just saying. And I was not a judge. I was doing this magic quest thing. All right. So I'm going to skim through the rest of that, I think. All right. Pattern of deceit constitutes extrinsic fraud. There's initial manipulation. Owens begins relationships quickly, fostering dependency with rapid discussions of family and commitment. Within months, she falsely claims pregnancy, manipulating photographs and documents to lend credence to her narrative. The takeaway, Owens expertly creates emotional traps, setting the stage for deeper deceit. 2, crisis fabrication, which is like miscarriage, abortion, suicide. Following the initial deceit, Owens invents medical emergencies such as miscarriages, offering fake evidence like manipulated test results. She assumes false identities to bolster these claims, fabricating correspondence from supposed allies or medical professionals to strengthen her lies. My favorite is like the message from the doctor that she obviously fabricated, which is like, your boyfriend, we want you to know that your boyfriend should be more supportive of you or something. Like, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was about Mike, and it was like, your boyfriend needs to have a better attitude. Like,
yeah, because you have real cancer.
Your doctors are not going to say that shit to you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if they thought that she was in some sort of emotionally abusive relationship, that would have been something that they would like bring up at the appointment and stuff like that. But they're not going to, without really talking to you about it and without understanding the situation, be like, well, I guess your boyfriend should just be more supportive and put that in writing and like in a patient portal message. Like, the stuff that they send to patients through the portal is very like generic. And if like something actually important is coming up, they're going to be like, you need to make an appointment. You know what I mean? So like some of the stuff that she put in there is just kind of like, this is not something a doctor would ever write and like send and just like leave it up to chance that nothing bad will happen. Like,
yeah, and if it was like, Laura, go to the doctor, have her write a declaration like Jingy, and just bring it in, and we'll listen. Like,
yeah,
prove your case.
Good luck with that. Okay, so we did that. So this step illustrates her meticulous crafting of fabricated crises to deepen her emotional control. False allegations. I mean, we all know what that is. Publicly posing as a victim allows her to promote her false narrative. In each instance, evidence contradicts her claims, as courts have often dismissed her lawsuits and noted her lack of credibility. Okay. Assuming the identity of fake people. Oh, no.
Imagine that's an actual bullet in a legal filing.
Dude. Owens assumes the identity of aliases or real individuals to support her conjured crises. For example, Dr. John Chan is an actual medical professional for whom Owens authored forged medical letters purporting to be from Dr. Chan, a gynecologic oncologist, sorry, I don't know why I said that, stating she had ovarian cancer and urging her partner to be supported. That was that. Okay. Yeah. You have very real cancer. This is real cancer. Your partner should be more supportive. Yeah. Okay, dude. She forged notes from Dr. Rebecca Yee. Okay. Owens faked communications from entertainment manager David Katz in an attempt to mislead Marraccini into thinking Mr. Katz would represent him in his podcast venture with Owens. Owens claimed to have friends and associates who supported her story of being pregnant with twins. The court later found these claims unsubstantiated. Jesus Christ. I totally have friends. No, you don't. That was a finding in court.
That always shocks me, the lack of witnesses here for her.
Oh, God. If only her friends were as real as her cancer, you know? Forged medical records and injury photos. To bolster her lies, she fabricates documents and recycles unrelated injuries as abusive evidence. Over a 10-year span, Owens manufactured medical proofs to prop false narratives, forging an oncology letter, right, we saw that, claiming an oophorectomy and surgical abortion via purported notes, texting HCG and oncology materials, and rebranding horsefall injuries as domestic violence bruises. In Arizona, investigators found she altered an ultrasound image and fabricated a pregnancy video, and filings show she submitted falsified medical records to her own expert. A judge concluded she knowingly presented a false claim and referred her for prosecution, now charged with fraud, forgery, perjury, and evidence tampering. Together, these items form a continuous pattern of medical evidence fakery used to mislead partners in courts. That's pretty hard to overcome, I think. Restraining orders. Over the past decade, Laura Owens has repeatedly presented herself as a victim of abuse, alleging physical assault, sexual assault, stalking, harassment, and pregnancy-related coercion by numerous men. I think that's funny, too. I know that's like, she's probably going to like freak out when she reads this. I'm sure she has read it already now, but I'm just kind of like, by numerous men. I think it's really funny because I know she's just like sitting in the casita screaming about that.
Just circling things.
See, in each known instance, however, her claims have been unsubstantiated, contradicted by evidence, or proven to be false outright. I mean, we don't really need to read the rest of this. We know this stuff pretty well. Okay. Public victim narrative. Owens then uses the existence of a DVRO or court filings to promote herself as a survivor in public forums. Yikes. TEDx talks, essays, and podcasts, attempting to garner sympathy and credibility while vilifying her former partner. Remember when she was promoting a podcast like 6 months ago? She was calling it Somebody Told You. Instead of Nobody Told Me, it was called Somebody Told You. And then she did like a little promo for it. And it was like the most bullshit thing I've ever seen. It was like 2 minutes long, I think. Maybe it's less than that. And then she never ended up making any episodes.
I got very like Serial vibes from that, the podcast.
Yeah.
Didn't end up happening.
No. And I feel bad for like the 1 or 2 people that probably paid for it that never got their money's worth.
Honestly, she probably just took that money, or whatever that seed money was, and was just like, thanks.
Here, Mom, you don't need to file for bankruptcy.
She hasn't posted a lot of stuff on Poshmark lately, so I don't know. She must not be that much.
I have no idea what's going on with that. I didn't even know she had like shirts designed or whatever. Somebody sent me one. I was like, it had like the horseshoe boobs. Yeah. And then so I was like, I will wear that if somebody sends me something like that. And so somebody made me one. It had like it was slightly different. It was like the horseshoes are a little bit different, and then they put stars in the middle.
I wanted to see it, but you couldn't lean back. I watched that stream.
Hold on. It's like right here. I left it next to the desk because I know I'm gonna have to put it back on at some point. Not tonight. But it's with the wig. It stays with the wig.
The horse titties.
Yeah. People send all kinds of stuff to my PO box, man.
That is actually amazing, and I'm super jealous.
I mean, I'll let you borrow it.
Oh, deal.
Yeah. All right. Collapse of the fraud. Over time, her fabrications unraveled under scrutiny. Independent courts and law enforcement eventually found her claims to be baseless, leading to dismissals, findings of fraud, and most recently, a felony indictment for perjury, forgery, and fraudulent schemes. It was impossible for Marraccini to have understood at the time that he was dealing with a serial fraud. Yep. Okay. Corroboration that Laura Owens is a criminal. And I think like we pretty much know all this stuff. They do talk about Clayton here. The Arizona judge found her testimony to be wholly not credible. Let's see. Court noted that Owens presented a false claim and falsified evidence and accused her of wasting the court's time with her lies. I mean, it's true. It's just I don't usually see people put it that bluntly,
I don't even think you have to say accused anymore.
No, I never do because I'm like, prove it. You want to sue me for defamation? Prove it. Like that's fine. Okay. The indictment charges Owens with fraudulent schemes, forgery, 4 counts of perjury, and tampering with physical evidence. Investigators found that Owens went to extreme lengths to manipulate the legal process. She allegedly altered ultrasound images, fabricated a pregnancy video, and lied repeatedly under oath in the Arizona case. These are not mere allegations. They are findings and charges by courts and law enforcement authorities, demonstrating Owens' propensity to lie to courts and manufacture evidence to achieve her ends. And it's corroboration of Owens' fraudulent conduct constitutes extrinsic fraud. Okay. 1 second. I'm about to cough.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still getting over something.
I can take over.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Were we on meritorious defense?
Right. Yeah, but we can go to that because we've already we know this stuff. So go ahead.
Yeah, this is the part I'm interested in. Actually, can I read that paragraph above that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Under California's 3-part test, Marraccini must show a meritorious defense, a satisfactory excuse for not presenting the defense in the first place, and diligence in seeking to set aside the judgment once discovered. So that's all he needs to have to overturn the verdict if intrinsic fraud is found. So for the first element, meritorious defense, to satisfy this element, the movement Marraccini must demonstrate facts indicating that a different result would have been reached if the case had been defended. For example, in People versus a Parcel of Land, the defendant showed a meritorious defense by declaring that she did not knowingly allow drug trafficking on her property. So she proved that she didn't actually know drug trafficking was happening on her property. And yeah, you could prove that through, I don't know, I guess it'd be interesting. Similarly, in County of LA, DNA evidence was cited as potentially satisfying the meritorious defense requirement if accurate. So yeah, it sounds like that's probably the hardest hurdle to get over, because courts just don't want to grant this type of relief.
Okay.
Marraccini's defense is that Owens's abuse allegations were false, fabricated from whole cloth. Substantial new evidence now confirms that Owens is a serial liar who weaponizes false allegations, positioning herself as a victim to torment men who have no interest in dating her. Had Marraccini been able to present new evidence of Owens' fraudulent scheme, such as the criminal indictment and the findings by other courts that anything Owens claims cannot be trusted, including Judge Mata's findings, it's highly probable that no reasonable court would have issued the original DVRO. The evidence suggests that the likelihood of a different outcome was significantly high. If the court had the opportunity to learn the full meritorious scope of Owens's claims, there would have been a different result, satisfying the meritorious defense requirement. So I love this paragraph for two reasons. It shows their hand but doesn't, and they pocket a lot of stuff here that they can use to prove this up. And I hate to speak vaguely, but I'm just trying to be wary of not giving Laura any ammunition. But I don't think this will help.
I'm sure she's if David's really not helping her, I'm sure she's watching everything. How can I use these people's comments to craft my defense?
But this fact here that they say, there was a subsequent criminal indictment. That's a good fact to show that the meritorious element is met. But there are much better facts. And so what this indicates to me is that Omar probably knows this is just sort of his first bite at the apple. And that's very common in even criminal defense. You always file certain motions that would get your client off scot-free. We'll see them in the Owens case, and I'll point them out.
I think that what Omar doesn't understand is that some of what he's saying doesn't matter if the judge's dad was there.
That's right. It doesn't. If he didn't say this 24 days before, none of it counts.
Right, yeah.
It was stipulated to. But I love this paragraph for everything it says, but more importantly for what it doesn't say. So two, go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't have anything to say. I was just,
valid excuse for not presenting the defense. Yeah, well, we've got enough of that. The movement must provide a satisfactory explanation for failing to present a defense in the original action. In People versus Parcel of Land, the defendant's attorney's misconduct, including failing to oppose the default judgment and not returning calls, was deemed a valid excuse. California courts have emphasized that the excuse must rise to the level of excusable neglect or positive misconduct, as opposed to mere inexcusable neglect. Oh, okay. I think that might be flipped, but extrinsic fraud typically exists where a party is deprived of his opportunity to present his claim or defense to the court, kept in ignorance of the true facts, or in some other manner fraudulently prevented from fully participating in the proceeding. Bruce says, this is that case Gingras. Oh, I thought he was going to say, Bruce is always so witty. Thank you.
No, it's just a fact.
Wait, I need this now. Can you take over? I got to find this.
Yeah, sure. Wait, where did you leave off?
I'm so sorry. Extrinsic, that second paragraph right above 15.
Yeah. Extrinsic fraud typically exists where a party is deprived of his opportunity to present his claim or defense to the court, kept in ignorance of the true facts, or in some other manner fraudulently prevented from fully participating in the proceeding. That is exactly what occurred here. Owens' fraudulent conduct prevented a fair adversary hearing by inducing the court to decide the case on false information. Through perjured testimony and fabricated corroborating evidence, Owens misled the court and thwarted Marraccini's ability to challenge her claims at the evidentiary hearing. Marraccini had no way to expose Owens' lies at the time. The falsity of her testimony only came to light years later. Thus, unlike a mere case of intrinsic fraud, for example, perjury that could have been exposed at trial, Owens' actions amounted to extrinsic fraud because they fraudulently prevented Marraccini from fully participating in the proceeding. In essence, Owens' scheme robbed Marraccini of any meaningful chance to present his defense, which is precisely the kind of injustice California courts will not tolerate. Okay. Then there's diligence in seeking relief. The movement must act promptly upon discovering the fraud or mistake.
Oh my god, it's so fun. So this isn't directly on point with what Bruce sent me, but just to pop Gingras' little ego bubble a little bit.
Sure.
The case he cited isn't even in the Federal Reporter. Like, he gave like a docketed case, which means the case actually has no precedential value, which if you're a lawyer, you know, like, okay, yes, you tried a case in federal court, good for you, but you didn't make any fucking law here, bro. Chill. Thank you, Bruce.
I mean, that sounds important to me. So.
Yeah, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Like, you got to be $75,000 or in damages or more to be in federal court, or it has to be a diversity case. This is probably a diversity case, meaning like two people from different states. Sure. But I mean, I'd love to be in federal court.
Lauren, please tell us what you really think of Baby Jingy again with your hilarious farting noises as you did in your last stream. So I have one emotional outburst in me per time period. Like, I don't know the set time period. I'll have to decide that later. But I have no energy for that. I just can't. I freaked out the most I could freak out that night, and then I was like, I need to sleep forever for the rest of the weekend.
You put yourself to sleep.
I don't know. Like, that was the most annoying. Like, so that's like some of the most annoying bullshit I've ever read. Like, that declaration. It was just like so full of shit.
Oh, it was bad.
Oh god, yeah. No, I was like, no, I like lost my shit a little bit in response to that. I was like, this guy's crashing out so hard that I'm gonna crash out while I'm reading it. And I really did, but I can't do it on cue. It has to be genuine. Like, you have to like elicit that reaction from me. I can't just like try to do it to be funny. You have to like inspire that kind of ridiculousness. And I'm just like kind of over this man at this point where I'm just kind of like, I just don't have it in me right now. So yeah.
I feel that. Yeah. Sometimes you read his shit and you're just like actively angry. Not you, but me.
No, definitely both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed at this point. I don't have anger left in me.
Yeah, no. I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, dude, I'm tired. You're so fucking stupid. Like, I'm so tired. Like, you don't deserve my intellect or my emotion. I'm just tired, like, of reading.
Literally, if he called me right now, I'd be like, just later.
Oh God, why would you ever? Why later? Why not never?
Oh, I mean, well, I'm not even gonna wish that into existence. Never mind.
Yeah, yikes. Okay, I don't even remember where we left off here. I think right at the top of this.
Okay.
Marraccini satisfied this standard. The record shows that Owens' fraud remained well concealed until recently. It was only through later developments, including documentation of her perjury and falsified evidence, that Marraccini discovered the depth of Owens' deception. Marraccini did not sleep on his rights after this discovery. To the contrary, he acted with appropriate diligence. Okay, so that's just the timeline of what's going on here. Through these actions, Marraccini has demonstrated reasonable diligence in seeking relief after discovering Owens' fraud. Okay. There has been no prejudice to Owens in the timing, as she sought renewal of the 2018 DVRO prior to this filing in July 2025. This was after her criminal indictment in May 2025.
Oh, such a bad fact.
Marraccini brings this motion a little over a month after Owens' request to renew, and after he has substantially replied to Owens' allegations, and after a new investigation into the layers of deceit that he's suffered now for nearly a decade. Okay.
The world conspired to just give her the worst procedural history. Maybe that's karmic justice. It's like she has lived a whole life of victimhood, and now the world is paying her back with a come to Jesus moment on a similar timeline.
Right. Stir Crazy, thank you for another gifted. I appreciate that. Let's see. Owens' fraudulent conduct undermines the legitimacy of the DVRO, which is, that is obviously something that I feel like we've talked about a lot. But Relief is right here. To leave the 2018 DVRO is to bless a fraud on the court. The order was intended to protect genuine victims, not to arm a liar. Owens used it to sell her false story of being a survivor. That lie stains the law and weakens faith in it. The courts have stated that they will not allow their orders to be used as tools of deceit. When fraud wins an order, the court has the power to strip it away. All right. There is now strong evidence that Owens won the DVRO on a lie. The order was made without any finding of abuse. Her deceit is plain. To maintain the order would be to perpetuate the fraud. It would allow her to use the court seal to pose as a victim, to tarnish Marraccini's name, and to twist the truth. The courts of California have the power to stop this. Okay, let's get to the bottom here. Relief here serves the purpose of the law. The DVPA was made to protect the truth. It was made so the courts could believe those in need. When Owens lied, she broke that trust. She hurt Marraccini, and she hurt real victims who come in fear and in honesty. To strike the order is to say the law is for protection, not revenge or vanity. To leave it is to reward her lies and punish a man who did no wrong. That cannot stand. Okay.
Preach.
Relief is necessary to prevent further misuse of the DVRO. Yeah.
Yep. I can read that.
Yeah, I was going to say, get some water really quick.
Yeah. The 2018 order must be struck. If it stands, Owens will continue to use it to harm Marraccini and possibly others. To leave it is to reward her lies. It would give her leave to twist the courts again. The Arizona court saw it. Her pattern of false claims. Marraccini was likely one of the first. The law cannot be bent to serve such deceit. For Marraccini, the order still cuts deep. A DVRO carries weight. It brands a man. It follows him professionally in his right to hold a gun and in his name. Each time he has to fly, TSA must pull him aside. They take him to a small room. They question him, sometimes for hours. Jesus. They treat him as if he were a criminal, yet no court has ever found he did wrong. I was trying to figure out why the TSA would have to do that. I mean, maybe...
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, like, do they not think that do they think he's getting on a plane to go do something? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Justice calls for Marraccini's name to be cleared. The order was born of fraud. Lifting it now harms no one. The relationship ended long ago. Marraccini lives in California. Owens went to Arizona. She chased other lawsuits. She chased other men. She ran her fraudulent schemes on others. Whatever need she claimed in 2018 was never real. There was no cause then. There's no cause now. Marraccini has moved on. He has a wife, 2 children, and his own life. It is a life Owens wanted but could never have. Oh, I wasn't even ready. I didn't read that the first time.
I think that probably hurt her feelings a little bit. Yeah?
I think mic drop. Gingras would have written mic drop there. She should not matter to him now. She should be nothing. A sour memory fading in the sun of what he has built. The court holds the chance to end this, to strike it down. The court to guard others from the reach of Owens and her predatory ways.
Hey, Bruce,
for her to be like a judge, like a vexus litigant. Honestly,
yeah,
that would be another good prayer for relief.
Bruce, what are you talking about, buddy? What's going on down there? TSA looks at my feet without shoes, but I'm supposed to have a foot fetish? They took away the no shoe rule, dude. What's going on in your life? I'm a little confused.
I mean, there's definitely at least multiple people a day who go through TSA purposefully to get their feet looked at. Like,
okay, so it kind of sounds like maybe that's what's going on here, Bruce.
I think that's it.
It kind of sounds like maybe that's what's going on here.
Bruce just goes in with like mayonnaise in his socks. He's like, I don't know how that got there.
And he's not here to defend himself, like on the camera, so I can selectively show his comments to support my narrative. I like that.
Yeah, let's read the sanctions. I think it's 22 pages, so we're almost done.
Yeah, okay.
Sanctions are warranted. Respondent seeks a sanction award of the entirety of Mike's legal fees pursuant to Family Code 271 and for the attorney's fees and costs incurred due to the petitioner's conduct in this litigation. This filing serves as notice that respondent will pursue sanctions based on petitioner's misuse of the DVRO process. her fraudulent claims, and the unnecessary legal expenses her conduct has caused. By including this notice in the present motion, respondent satisfies the statute's procedural requirement and ensures petitioner has a fair opportunity to address the sanctions request. No more Rule 26 here, Jingy. Respondent submits that the court may rule on sanctions. Mike submits that the court may rule on sanctions with the motion to vacate or alternatively defer the determination to a later hearing after the DVRO is resolved, which is proper. You know that I think both of those are. It's just good law.
Okay.
Respondent further seeks sanctions under Family Code 271 in light of petitioner's conduct, which can be accurately described as a litigation ambush. And Omar, honestly, is going to be really good here because he's already thought through this from a California legal perspective, because sanctions is all we talked about for a long time. Petitioner's actions in obtaining and litigating the DVRO have flagrantly violated the Family Code's policy favoring cooperation and settlement. That is true. This litigation ambush is characterized by petitioner's fraudulent and misleading behavior, marking a deliberate attack on judicial resources and fairness. Yeah, we've been saying that forever.
Mm-hmm.
Fraudulently procured the DVRO. So these are her acts that violate the policy of the Family Code and warrant sanctions, which I think it's really clean to lay them all out here. Petitioner obtained the restraining order through false and misleading representations, effectively perpetuating a fraud on the court during the ambush. Misled the court and abused the DVRO process. The petitioner presented misleading evidence and omitted testimony to maintain the DVRO. That's very true. Further exemplifying the ambush strategy that undermines the integrity of these proceedings. This misuse echoes the core purpose of the sanction rule, which penalizes tactics that price parties out of justice and discourage cooperation, emphasizing the need for fair proceedings. Forced unnecessary fees in litigation. By pursuing an unwarranted DVRO, petitioner has turned this ambush into a costly affair, compelling respondent to incur substantial attorney's fees and costs to defend against the order and now to seek dismissal. Yeah, this is probably a $10,000 fine. Just for all of just that one footnote alone was just wow. This misconduct has escalated the conflict, prevented early settlement, and imposed unnecessary litigation expenses on respondent. Such conduct is exactly what 271 is meant to deter. Rule 271 allows the court to award attorney's fees and costs as a sanction based on conduct that furthers or frustrates the law's policy to promote settlement and reduce litigation costs by encouraging cooperation. Yeah, she's in a blue state now. They have different policies. The policies aren't save the taxpayers money. The policies are everyone chill. And she has no chill in her body.
No. No.
The statute's purpose is not simply fee shifting, but to punish bad behavior and encourage cooperation. Here, petitioner's bad faith tactics, executed under the guise of a litigation ambush, have clearly frustrated the policy of the law by undermining settlement and increasing costs, triggering 271's applicability. Sanctions must be scaled to the payer's ability to pay. Sorry, I'm going to try not to laugh through this part. And must consider the financial circumstances of both parties. Sanctions under 271 must not impose an unreasonable financial burden. The court has a duty. You
good?
I'm going to make it through this.
Right.
The courts have a duty and the authority to impose sanctions for conduct that frustrates settlement or increases litigation costs, aligning with the policy goals of 271. However, it's important to note that Rule 271 does not require the conduct to rise to the level of bad faith or frivolousness. Interesting. It's required under other statutes like 128.5. However, instead, it focuses on whether the conduct frustrates the policy of promoting settlement and reducing litigation costs. California courts have consistently imposed monetary sanctions under Rule 271 and its predecessor statutes in response to similar bad faith litigation tactics and abuse in the judicial process. For instance, so he's even got on point Well, I mean, not that you can get blood from a stone, but I want them to sell
Sure.
those horses. Those horses belong in a better place anyway. Like, I don't even want that to be cruel. I just want that because, like, they deserve a better home.
That's a pretty small place for the 3 horses, right?
Like, they only have chocolate to feed them, I hear.
Oh, Jesus.
For
Well,
instance,
they feed them the same chocolate that the police officers get at their house, so I feel like it's, high standard chocolate, I guess.
oh, I cannot wait till the case is over and we get the search warrant body cam footage, and she's
Oh my
like, "You're
God.
not real cops.
Yeah, I don't
You
know
don't
how
have
long
any
it's gonna take.
chocolate."
That is so. It's gonna be so ballistic. Like, oh God.
So in Battleburg, the Court of Appeals upheld sanctions against a party who pursued a bogus spousal abuse claim. I'm using quotes.
Mhm.
A spouse's deliberate delaying tactics and bad faith conduct during divorce proceedings justified $15,000 in attorney fees as a sanction. The court said reprehensible conduct falling short of bad faith can warrant fee sanctions under the family law statutes. These authorities make clear that courts will award attorneys fees such as sanctions where, as in Laura's case, a party has acted as Laura has acted in bad faith, or as Laura has acted, engaged in litigation abuses that thwart the policy of amicable resolutions and fair dealing. In this case, Mike asserts that Laura's conduct is more serious than the examples cited above. I don't see any reason to not say that. By allegedly creating fake doctors and a false basis for a DVRO and requiring Mike to incur significant legal expenses, petitioner has increased costs and utilized court resources. This is the type of delay and expense. Delay of what? Almost 10 years?
Yeah, a little bit.
That is egregious. That section Rule 271, this is exactly the type of delay Rule 271 is intended to prevent. Respondent respectfully requests that the court order Laura to pay Mike's reasonable attorney fees and costs resulting from this conduct, as permitted under the Family Code. The Court of Appeals has clarified that 271 sanctions must correspond to actual attorney's fees and costs caused by the conduct. The requested sanctions seeks only those actual fees and expenses incurred due to the petitioner's alleged misuse of the DVRO process. And, what I love about this is like, we'll get to actually see if fees are awarded, what Omar charged for, and, see
Right.
that transparency is something that's always been lacking from her side.
Right.
And everyone here is just like, we're speaking like words of truth sounds so dramatic. We're just saying what reality is. And so we don't mind showing you like, this is what we said. And then like, this is what shows that we meant what we said.
Yeah.
I just don't know how Laura thinks that she can go around saying things without anything to back them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And willing them to be true. Awarding these fees and costs will compensate Mike and help deter future misuse of the court system. If the court does not grant sanctions immediately, the respondent, Mike, requests that the court defer deciding on 271 sanctions. That's a really smart move there, until after the DVRO motion is resolved, thereby keeping the issue open for a later hearing. Waiting would let the court fully consider and fully see this shit show and Laura's responsibility for Mike's fees after the DVRO is addressed. This would protect respondents' right to relief under 271 and let the court focus on the DVRO first. Still, because the clear litigation abuse in Rule 271 does focus on prompt action, Mike believes the sanctions award is justified now. Respondent asked the court to grant the request for fees, which means they would grant it now, and then at the end they would give them the bill, to ease the financial impact of petitioners' actions and to discourage similar tactics in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one point I want to make. I'll finish this here. In conclusion, giving these sanctions would support the policy of encouraging cooperation and help restore fairness as intended by Family Code 271.
Sure.
And what I wanted to say here that I think is really going to be interesting is, Laura does have to respond to this. And if she doesn't, that's I still think it'll be a difficult thing for the judge to accept in exactly the way that they've provided it.
Okay.
But if she doesn't respond to this, the judge has to infer that she doesn't object to anything in here, right?
How long does she have to do that?
It's usually like 30 days.
Oh shit. Okay.
I could check. I'm sure someone who's a California lawyer here knows. But what makes this so in 30 days, basically, she's either got to respond to this pro se or respond to it with legal with legal representation, who would probably file a motion to extend.
Yeah.
But if she hires a lawyer here, right? This isn't a criminal matter. So she has to actually pay money or get free legal representation.
Well, she just
And
declared
so
herself an indigent in her criminal case too.
exactly.
So like you can't I mean you can, but it's a bad look.
Well, I think if she does, like Clayton as the victim in the Arizona case, hopefully he's aware enough or in communication with
I'm
other
sure he
victims of
is.
his
Yeah,
case.
I'm sure he is.
Because he
talking
should
about
bring
it,
that
yeah.
to that's honestly he is the victim in his case, and this is clearly she's continuing to do the exact same thing that she did to him to the actual court by making false representations and lying about her indigent status. So I hope that if she it makes it really difficult in the situation for her to retain counsel. So that could be another reason why Jingy's fighting so hard to not be fully excluded from representing her, because maybe there are implications about whether or not he can or can't do ghostwriting for her if he's completely removed.
Right.
But I hope Omar is able to, in her response, if it's not from a lawyer she hires, be able to ask, did Gingras help you with this, if the court rules on the motion to exclude him?
Right. It's kind of a random question that it doesn't have anything to do with what we just read, but I didn't get to ask you the other night.
Yeah.
You saw those photos of the thumbnails, right? In the declaration. What do you think about that? Is that I know he hadn't taken, the case, obviously. He did not know that he would in the future be representing Mike when he made those thumbnails and stuff. But I know some people were saying yeah, maybe as a family law attorney, you wouldn't do something like that. And I'm too biased to I feel give an objective opinion on that, because obviously I'm going to be no, no matter what, I don't think he did anything wrong. So I don't know, but what was your stance on that? When you look at that, do you think it really matters at all, or?
So actually, out of all of that, so I don't think it matters legally. What I think it does matter too, though, is Omar practices in California. Sure. And so his credibility to the court matters.
Okay.
And in that regard, what got me really, really upset with Gingras's declaration was how he was insinuating that Omar was endorsing the physical abuse of Laura.
Right. That was fucking bogus, though. Because he was the one who brought in the boxing stuff, the Conor McGregor litigation and all that. So I was kind of again, I'm very, very, of course, I'm going to feel the way that I feel about this. So that's why I'm asking you.
No, I think what I said to my girlfriend when we saw that was it's basically just not a good look. But it's not what Gingras is saying. It was never made for that purpose.
No,
but
of course not.
I think that alone I would consider filing a complaint against him, because it mischaracterizes the situation.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, and I didn't know
slanders him in front of the court.
The way that he's passing that off, yeah, absolutely. Because he, again, like I said, he is the one who brought up the boxing thing and brought the boxing thing into it. That's number one. And what a lot of people also don't realize, I think, is that Laura went after several of us for using her good normal profile photos where you're not her crying photos and stuff. And so you had to kind of make stuff up. You had to kind of use these screenshots and come up with something else, or she was going to try to strike you, because she did that to me. She did to Tug. She did to Dave. So you can't use a normal photo of her. So I guess he just kind of took the theme that he was going with and put that on there. But I don't know, dude. I was kind of I'm annoyed with the way this is being presented right now.
He made it into a wedge issue, right? None of us thought this was an issue before he characterized it in that way. And in that regard, I think he is just David is just an overall kind of malicious person.
Oh, he's absolutely shitty person.
Yeah.
And he represents things that Greg and Clayton and Mike have done that he absolutely knows. And in my opinion, he absolutely knows. If you have a shred of intelligence, you have to know that that's not the way that he's, representing it is not truthful. And so I'm kind of like, you intentionally lie to try to make it look like these guys are like scummy assholes while you're over here like taking advantage of teenage girls as an adult man, and then later, you know, getting caught commenting on Reddit, which you pretended not to have, again, complimenting and going through teenage girls' photos. And you want to say that these men are the problem?
Yeah.
This kind of guy is the problem?
It was really upsetting when I read that, because I was just like, damn, you know, when you inject that into the world, you just breathe it into existence, you're able to just recreate reality, you know, and drive a wedge through people. So I was really upset when I saw that.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I mean, I want to have some understanding of like people who are saying like maybe that was not a good idea, but at the same time, I'm just like, so I'm going to argue with everything that guy does. So it's kind of hard for me to form a clear opinion on that right now. I think.
Well, if he wasn't a lawyer, right, like this probably would not ever even be an issue. So I think that's the tightrope you walk in LawTube, is your actions are going to be like hyper scrutinized, whereas like everyone else gets a fucking break. It's not fair.
Right.
Jesus. Yeah, we live in a sort of like cancel culture where people just want to believe what they want to believe. But I would say, you know, I don't know. If it were me, I wouldn't have had the foresight to think, you know, anything other than, oh, this is just a funny post. Because I wouldn't think, oh, well, I'm going to represent Mike in a couple of months, and this could be viewed this way. And maybe if this is introduced to court, it will damage my credibility with the court. Like, who is making those connections at that time? They're just thinking it was literally to talk about the decision itself. Like, she got her ass whooped in court. I'm going to make this thumbnail showing she got her ass whooped in court, and then talk about her getting her ass whooped in court. Like, it's not any more complicated than that. Gingras is the one who's trying to make it more complicated.
I mean, anybody, if you look at anybody online, you can find something that you can spin into something nefarious. Like, I don't care how good you are. Somebody can find something that you've said or done or posted and turn it into something it's not. So, yeah. I was just seeing comments about that, so it's bothering me.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think I would file a bar complaint against him, and I would move to strike that, because it's a mischaracterization of the facts.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy's facing bar complaints now in multiple states, and also like with this thing in Florida. So it's like, dude, what are you? Like, maybe what are you doing?
I bet that's a big part of the reason he's like so cavalier about quitting the legal profession. He's just, the walls are just closing in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see how they respond to all of that. I guess it'll take a while because the court's really slow in this one. But,
yeah. Well, Laura, I think the clock is ticking for her to respond to this, so she's probably fucking stressing about this. And I mean, if we do see the response and it's all about stipulation, then we know she has the best. She has the best lawyer money can't buy.
Right? Yeah. Sure. I mean, what happens when he gets too busy with his own DUI trial to deal with this lady shit, and like all the stuff that's going on in Florida now, because they just like a few days ago did that motion for sanctions on him. So I'm like, what happens when he gets too busy for you? Are you finally gonna freak out on him? Like, what's going on here?
I know. Oh my god, he is just like literally playing with fire with that. But you know what? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. This guy just sucks. But all right, move this off the screen. I think that's all I got for tonight, because I'm not gonna. Oh wait, I did want to show that. There was just one thing here that I just needed everyone to know existed, because I'm not gonna go through all this tonight. It's not gonna happen. I want to play that open chat mode before it leaves tomorrow at 9 on Fortnite. So I gotta get off here.
The Delulu.
Yeah, dude, I want the umbrella so bad. Here it is. She's like fell off the horse. It's like trampling her. Yeah.
That's the picture of her actually falling off the horse.
Which time, bro? I mean, there's been multiple times, and we've seen it because they tried to copyright strike it off of YouTube, even though it wasn't their video to copyright strike. And so I went, and then because they bank on these people like Schnitzel Ninja, and then like not being able to fight back, or they have to like reveal their personal details or addresses and stuff to Laura or David, whoever does the copyright strike. So then I went ahead and I posted it from like a bunch of different accounts. And I was like, go ahead and copyright strike me because you're going to find out that I will actually push back on you because I don't give a shit if you know who I am. So, and then they just kind of gave up.
They wanted to copyright strike her falling off a horse?
Oh, they did. They did.
That is
They did it several times because they won't get a response from these people. They have to just kind of suck it up and take it. Otherwise, they have to reveal themselves, and they don't want their personal information online. And they definitely don't want Laura to have it because Laura is a freak who calls the police on people across the country for liking a TikTok about her. So, you know.
Oh God, I did not. I don't think I've seen this video in full length. I would love to see
this.
that.
I don't think this was even the video. It's a different one. Like there are several instances of her falling off a horse like this.
Are there more in here?
Not in here. I haven't seen them in here, but I'm just saying they're online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're not in here. And then David, of course, started copyright striking people who are reading his like declarations and stuff. Or maybe it wasn't even his declaration. I don't remember, but something in one of these filings in this case, like a couple months ago, he struck Schnitzel Ninja for that. And then he struck, of course, Loud Little Ducky for using his gym photo. So, I mean, the guy's just like a mess. Like he looks like a fucking lunatic. Even if you're somebody who like only vaguely like a little bit follows this case and you like hear about the stuff that he's done and you like watch what he's doing right now, you're gonna be like, that guy's a fucking lunatic.
I know it. I wish that more people would catch on to it because it's truly wild behavior by an attorney. It makes me wonder like how many other attorneys are cranking out just absolutely ridiculous things.
I don't know, even like I've unfortunately, come across some shitty attorneys in other contexts now, but they don't do this. They're not crazy. They're just bad people. You know what I mean? Like they're bad people, but they're smart people.
But at the end of the day, though, Lauren, like this is a restraining order. Like
somebody should get a restraining order on this guy because holy shit.
A gag order, honestly. I wish she would represent her so they could just gag him from talking.
That's never gonna happen.
Yeah, he'd take that up to that. He would take it to the Supreme Court.
Oh, for sure. Let's not give him that. Let's not give him that fame.
No. Well, where do you think it goes from here? You think she'll get a lawyer, or you think she'll just have him ghostwrite it?
I think he's gonna ghostwrite. I don't think she can afford it. I think they cause too many problems, like from a public opinion standpoint, as well as because she expects and knows at this point with her criminal trial going that she intends to take all the way to trial. That she says that it's going to matter what the public thinks of her at some point with all the rumors about the documentary and the podcast and all that. Like, I think she does care a little bit about her image, and to the extent that she is maybe going to think about that and say, I don't think I should maybe be paying an attorney in California while I'm an indigent in Arizona. So I don't know, unless she has a mysterious family benefactor that pays for it. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know if that excuse is going to fly again.
Even then, like, if it was my family would be like, oh, your parents are bankrupt. I'm not paying for your little restraining order. Just don't talk to the guy. Shit.
Yeah, dude, it's not that hard. He's in California. He doesn't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, I'm not paying for that as even a family friend. I'm taking care of the parents first. But
I'm not even doing that. Fuck that. Something's going on with y'all, and I don't want anything to do with it.
So you think she'll go pro se for this whole thing and just have David ghostwrite it?
You know what? I was only thinking about now. I wasn't even thinking about the trial.
I think you're right. I think she's got to go pro se all the way.
I don't know if she'll do that for the hearing though. I don't know.
But that would mean David couldn't. See, this is why they need the court to recuse him, because he would go back on his word in a second. Absolutely. If Laura had to go and cross-examine Mike, who cares about an email? Like,
it's a no-brainer. I mean, that he's going to be a problem later on if you don't do something about it.
No-brainer. So, I mean, yeah, he needs to get disqualified now. Like, no-brainer. Because he... And you know what? This would be hilarious if the court doesn't rule on the motion until the day of trial, and then he shows up and he's like, I'm representing her, and the court's like, I'm ruling no.
Jesus Christ.
I would just be like, nom, 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 popcorn. So much popcorn.
I guess she's going to have to call Uncle Joe, huh?
Do we get to view this live?
I'll be there. I don't know if it comes to that, but just because I want to watch Omar's stuff. No, I don't want to do that. To be honest, I just don't want to do that. Like, if I want to go watch him, do his thing, because I would love to see him work and see how he is at doing that. Then I'm just going to be paying attention to that. I don't really want to do all that. So it's like stressful too. Like Scott and I were during Clayton's trial were like freaking out a little bit the whole time. So that was
I'm gonna be in
a stumble through that
California
one.
in November, I think. When
Oh
is the
shit!
trial?
It's October. It's supposed to be in October.
End of October.
In like a month from now, end of October, a little earlier
All
than
right.
that, maybe.
Well, if it gets moved to November, I'll be in Malibu.
I'll be asleep in November. I don't know what's going on in
October.
November.
But you're
Yeah.
planning on going then?
Yeah, I'll go.
That's awesome. Well, I hope someone puts in a media request, but
I don't know if they will allow that out there, though. I've heard it's different.
I mean, it's a non-violent crime, you know. Like,
Well,
it's
you know,
not-
I did put one in a while ago, and you know that how that turned out, right? I mean, I didn't know they would put my request on the fucking docket and show that it was declined or whatever. And so she freaked out then and like wrote in one of her filings that I was retaliating against, you know, her and the court for them not approving my request. And that's why I was raising money for Mike's fund. It was like, you fucking bitch.
Oh
You're
my
so
God.
stupid.
Just take your tin hat off. The court doesn't even acknowledge half of the shit she writes.
I hope not, man.
That is insane. Well, again, this is the thing. Gingras is writing all this, so it's like two people who have accepted the same reality, and so they're just reinforcing each other's reality.
It's insane, though. Like, I've been following this for how long? And I went to her criminal trial, and I sat there respectfully in the court and did not make a fucking sound. And I didn't bother her. I didn't even look at her. Like, I didn't make eye contact with her or her family. I didn't try to speak to them. Nothing. Like, I stayed out of their way because I don't want any contact with these people.
I can't imagine
And so,
you doing anything other than that.
No. And then, of course, she writes that I'm somehow retaliating against the court and Laura for like not accommodating my request. And I'm just like, honestly, it's just a lot less stress for me if you don't let me do that. So
Yeah.
like, I'm not even going to try. I don't even want that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think I heard maybe Mike or Dave, Megan Fox and Dave Neal talking about it, but
Yeah,
not
I think
anything
they can request it. I honestly don't think that they're going to allow that. Just from what I've heard, and good if they do that. I think that's great, but somebody else is definitely going to have to do it because I'm just not fucking with that this time. So
yeah, California.
I am not putting myself through that. Not
yeah,
again.
San Francisco is probably a little bit more of a. Well, no, Maricopa County is still a sophisticated jurisdiction, so we'll see. But I appreciate your continued coverage of it and having me on and stuff.
Oh, sure, man. Thanks.
Did I answer the majority of legal questions? I feel like I didn't see any in chat.
No, I think we're good. Hang on. Stir Crazy, thank you again for the gifted. She gave me another one. And Ronnie G, thank you for the gifted membership. I appreciate that, guys. No, I think there's nothing really hanging out here for us to answer. So
yeah, restraining order. It's a good filing. Gingras. I don't know what happened with that motion. I guess we'll see if it hits the docket, like you said. But
he's gonna freak out and put it out there anyways. You know, it's I don't know why he pretends. He's gonna throw a little bitch fit late at night when he's had too much to drink, and he's gonna post it online. So I don't really care. And even if he doesn't, I'm like, great. I don't have to waste any more time with you.
I was like, who are you edging for right now, my dude?
I don't know. And then he's like, I'm not gonna post it to give the leeches ad revenue. I'm like, dude, I would gladly surrender the $13 I will make off of that to not have to read any more of your drivel. Like, that is bullshit. But all right.
Yeah, the blogs are getting exhausting, so I can only imagine what the emotions are.
Yeah.
And then did you see he was like, I hate scanned versions of documents, so here is like a better version, like.
Yeah, no, because Steve went all the way out there to get that for us, and then he was just like, "This looks stupid. It's black and white." He didn't say it exactly like that, but that's how I imagine him saying it.
Yeah,
just sitting there stewing over it, like.
It's like kind of like it's almost like, you know what, like, David, like, no one invited you to what we're doing here.
No.
So don't comment. Like, we don't want your, like, we're fine with the scans. Like, we don't keep our names out of your mouth. Like,
here's how dumb this guy is. He pretends that he doesn't have time for like YouTubers or whatever, but then he spends like most of his evenings, it seems, writing about how much he like hates what we're saying and all that, how we're lying about him. And like, so clearly you were paying attention to what we were saying. You don't agree with it. And then he at one time he said he was like tweeting about me during my live stream, trying to get me to call him. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. I don't want to talk to you. I like said that out loud on the microphone. I was like, hey, I see your tweet. I don't want to fucking talk to you. Leave me alone. And then he starts, tweeting at other people who are talking to him. And he's like, I'm not even watching her, blah, blah. And then like 5 seconds later, he tweets about something I just said. I was like, David, you just told on yourself. Like, stop.
Remember you caught him too? You like posted something in Discord to like catch him.
When Layla from PS Creative, the podcast studio, her attorney and him met for something because he was freaking out on them, and so I posted in the Discord knowing, because Layla told me earlier, knowing that they had already met. I posted something like, David's lying. I know it for a fact that David and her attorney did not meet this morning. Like I might have said like he had to reschedule or something. And then David screenshots it and my picture or something, and he starts tweeting. He was like, Lauren's a liar. She's a liar. And then I posted screenshots in a separate DM where I was saying, I'm gonna lie in Dave's Discord right now just to see if he does anything about it. What a loser.
Dude,
he lives in Dave's Discord. He's like, oh my god, Lauren's lying. I have to tweet about this. I'm like, dude, in Dave's Discord, my name and profile picture are David Gingras right now. It's David's face in a big gingerbread, and my name is David Gingras. Like, fuck you, David. I don't care.
In that context, he is such a hypocrite, because in that context, who is using who for content?
Right.
He is taking a lie from Discord and tweeting about it. That is, you should have copyright struck him. That's what you should have done.
God.
He would have gotten wet for that, as a matter of fact.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I don't care. Like, I know the guy's lurking there all the time, so occasionally I'll just say like David's a cunt or something. So I'm like, I don't even care. Like, if you are talking about how much you hate these people and how you want nothing to do with them and you just want peace in your life, but you spend all day watching what I'm saying to other people.
Yeah,
I'm getting like some mixed messages here. Yeah,
my man.
He's just so easy to troll farm, dude. He's so easy.
Oh, I've got him to react before, yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Whether he knows it or not, I don't know.
Probably not. I think at one point in time I had like an alternative Twitter account. This is like really early on, because I was like, I don't know if I want to communicate with this man with my name and face. So I was like, you know what? I'll respond to his tweets and ask him questions about his weird filings that I don't understand. And he said something really strange about like, and then he tried to hashtag his own law firm. He tried to start a hashtag fans of Gingras Law. So I started to post tweets using the hashtag fans of Gingras Law, which is like a bunch of pictures with like booger related media. I was like, you want this hashtag? I'm gonna make this hashtag happen. I don't know. I can't even remember. It's been over a year, dude. So
I will never forget when Megan and Tug got douche canoe trending on Twitter. That was epic.
This is like very, very early on, before I knew he was an asshole, and I was just like, I actually just don't want to talk to you whatsoever.
When he was fun. Oh,
yeah, it was fun for a minute, yeah. Because he would like answer your questions. I was like, you're kind of unhinged, but at least you're like
here for it.
You know what I mean? Like, you're entertaining. So
yeah,
I thought he was funny for a while. I was like, this guy's kind of funny. I can see how he can kind of charming, even though I think his ideas are crazy. I think he's kind of a funny guy. And then I was like, oh no, you're actually just a piece of shit. Okay.
I know. It's like, I would watch you not for the things you're saying, but just how you're saying them. Yeah. But then he went and got really just intolerable.
Yeah, since I like blocked him from my like Twitter account, like my actual Twitter account, I will absolutely have no engagement with this person whatsoever. I don't want him to have any excuse to say that he has any right to bother me or talk to me, because he has tried multiple times, and I keep saying, I don't want to talk to you, like, leave me alone. But he is so easy to troll just because he can't stop stalking people. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Well, I'm sorry to cut it short, but I
don't think you're cutting it short. You're way later than you said you were gonna go. So.
I know I did. Yeah, I can appreciate the how good it was though to read. I mean, I think we'll see what happens, but I wanted to like get through it because I knew a lot of people had heard like Schnitzel read it, but without Omar here, it's like, we need some commentary. And then I'd seen a couple of questions, and I've been bad on Reddit, so I was like, I need to just jump in here and help out.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate everyone here like joining, cool. Bruce and Lauren.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, all.
Bye.